Hi, so let's have a chat about self-defense and how it can be learned. Well, I get asked this question many times. It's a bit like a question from somebody who says they want to be a fighter. I normally respond to the question with a question. I will say to somebody something along the lines of, if you wanted to be the best window cleaner in the world, what would you do? They normally reply, clean windows. Say, exactly. Now, you're going to start off with a window that's very easy to clean, something you can reach by just standing there, maybe a little pane window like that. It's going to be nice and simple, nice and easy. You're not going to start off abseiling down a 65-story skyscraper on the end of a rope and doing some amazing cleaning on the outside of a building. You don't jump straight in. You start at the very beginning. And so it is with learning self-defense. You start at the beginning. You learn the basics. You learn how to interact with people. You learn how to get away from a situation first of all. You learn to read and understand how situations develop. You need to learn to have that sixth sense that many of us have. In fact, all of us do have, but many of us train it out of ourselves or we ignore it. You need to understand that when the back of your mind says, something's wrong here, I've got to get out of this place, trust it, get out of that place. You've got to learn to read situations because self-defense starts with not being in a position where you have to defend yourself. It starts with not being the victim. All the physical side of self-defense is when everything else has gone wrong. Now, 99.99999% of the time, a self-defense situation is not of your choosing. It's of the choosing of the attacker or the attackers. The only time a self-defense situation may be of your choosing is if you're involved in security or you're a law enforcement officer or something like that. Something where you're paid to do the job and you can't physically just run off. Now, when it's not of your choice, you've got that shock that goes on once the attack is initiated. So you need to be able to read all those cues, understand those situations, so that, without breaking the law, you can choose to preemptively strike. You must understand the law within your own country, but as a general guideline, if you believe that you are going to be or about to be attacked, or that you or someone else is about to be attacked, you are allowed to preemptively strike. Now, you should be able to set yourself in a position whereby that strike has the maximum effect. You cannot afford to be involved in a fight. Now, there's a difference between a self-defense situation and a fight. But for now, we'll assume that you know that difference. The crucial part of anything to do with self-defense is the build-up. It's a bit like if you understand about locks, for example, and people say, how do you get out of this lock, or how do you get out of this choke? Well, once it's on, once it's applied, once it's being ripped into you, there's not much chance of getting out of it. It's all of that time building up before the lock's applied or the choke's put on that you can defend it. And it's the same with the self-defense situation. All of that time leading up to the point where somebody is about to attack you is the time where you could have defended it. You could have spotted the situation, seen what was going on, trusted your gut, and got out of there. You shouldn't have the ego or the stupidity to hang around and get involved in a fight that you don't have to be involved in. And only once everything else has gone wrong does it become physical. And at that point, that's where your training kicks in. So that's my little take on how to learn self-defense. You need to learn all the bits that stop you from getting into a fight first, and then learn the physical. And that's a different story. That's something that we can really help you with.